Hello, it's Julie from Navigate Your Fate, and I'm here today to talk with you about the science of card quadration. Today we'll be covering the spiritual spread through age 9. So in order to do that, you'll need to get yourself a deck of cards. The second thing that you'll need, you don't need, but is very helpful, is Robert Lee Camp's Advanced Oracle Workbook. You can find this on the website 7thunders.com. That's the number 7 in front of the word thunders.com. Just look for Robert Lee Camp and you'll find it. Go to the advanced books and pick yourself up a digital copy so that you can follow along through the course. So today we'll be going through the spiritual spread up into age 9, and I'll show you exactly how the deck is shuffled in order to arrive at each grand solar spread. This means if you were on a deserted island with a deck of cards, you'd still be able to do readings as long as you understand the planetary positions and the meanings of each card. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, grab yourself a place to work, grab your book and your cards, and let's get started. Thanks for coming by. Enjoy. To begin our series of quadration, you'll need to find a workspace that's large enough to hold all the cards. When I use a regular table, I find that the cards don't want to stay in place. They spin around. So I've got a solution for that. Find a terry cloth towel and place it over your workspace. The reason I prefer terry cloth is because it has a thicker pile to it and it allows you to work with the cards in a more manageable fashion. So we want to make sure that we've got our deck set up properly in order to lay the spiritual spread. You'll do that by starting with the Ace of Hearts facing you, then go to the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to the King of Hearts. After the hearts, you'll start with the Ace of Clubs and take that all the way in order up to the King of Clubs. From there, take your Ace of Diamonds and again in order all the way up through the King of Diamonds. Finally, you'll take your Ace of Spades all the way through the King of Spades on the top of the deck. So just to reiterate, the card you could see should be an Ace of Hearts, and the top of the pile, when you flip over, should be the King of Spades. Now we're ready to lay down our spiritual spread. We'll start in the Mercury position with the Ace of Hearts, and then we'll move into the Mercury row, Venus column with the 2 of Hearts. The Mars card in the Mercury row will be the 3 of Hearts, and the Jupiter card in the Mars row will be the 4 of Hearts. Saturn is the 5 of Hearts, Uranus is the 6 of Hearts, and Neptune will be the 7 of Hearts. We then move down a row, back to the right into the Mercury column to do our Venus row. Here we'll start with the 8 of Hearts. Venus is the 9 of Hearts. Venus row, Mars column will be the 10 of Hearts. The Jupiter card in the Venus row will be the Jack of Hearts. The Queen of Hearts will fall in Saturn. King of Hearts in Uranus. And Ace of Clubs will finish the Venus row in the Neptune column. Move down to the right to the Mercury column and place your 2 of Clubs. This is going to start your Mars row. In the Venus position is the 3 of Clubs. Mars is 4 of Clubs. The Mars row, Jupiter column is the 5 of Clubs. Saturn is the 6 of Clubs. Uranus is the 7 of Clubs, and Neptune, 8 of Clubs. Once again, moving down and to the right, we start our Jupiter row with the 9 of Clubs, the 10 for Venus, the Jack of Clubs for Mars, the Queen of Clubs will go underneath the Jupiter column, Saturn column holds the King of Clubs, and the Ace of Diamonds will go into Uranus, and Neptune will be the 2 of Diamonds. Moving down, we'll start our Saturn row. In the Mercury position will be the 3 of Diamonds. Venus position in the Saturn row will be 4 of Diamonds. 5 of Diamonds is next. 6, 7, 8, and 9 of Diamonds to finish that Neptune row. Coming down, we'll start our Uranus row. And the Uranus row in the Mercury column will be the 10 of diamonds. In the Venus spot is the Jack of diamonds, then the Queen of diamonds in Mars, King of diamonds in Jupiter, Ace of spades in Saturn, 2 of spades will go to Uranus, and the Neptune card of the Uranus row will be the 3 of spades. Our Neptune row in the Mercury position begins with the 4 of spades, Venus position 5, Mars position in the Neptune row is a 6 of spades, 7 of spades for Jupiter, 8 of spades for Saturn, 9 of spades for Uranus, 10 of spades for the Neptune position. That's a Neptune row and Neptune column. We're left with 3 cards that come up to the crown line, which will be your Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn columns. So Mars will be the Jack of spades, Jupiter will be the Queen of spades, and Saturn will be the King of spades. You've now laid out the equivalent to the grand solar spread for the spiritual spread. Next step, turn the page so that you can take a look at the life spread. This is the spread that we're going to use to determine what somebody's birth card and personality card are going to look like for their duration of their life. Now we pick up the spread. So how we do that is we want to go back to where we started in the Mercury position. Take your Mercury card, and then to the left of it is your Venus card. You're going to put the Venus card on top of the Mercury card, move over, put the Mars card on top of the Venus card, put the Jupiter card on top of the Mars card, the Saturn card on top of the Jupiter card, the Uranus card on top of Saturn, and the Neptune card goes on top of Uranus. We're going to move down and back to the right to the Mercury position, and each card to the left goes on the top of the deck. This is an area that is very easy to make a mistake if you go too quickly, or if you're not using a towel, you'll find that the cards come out of order very easily if they don't have anything to grip onto. Just pick them all up in order. Card to the left goes on top. Get down to our Neptune line. And once we get to the Neptune position, same thing, we're going to go back to the crown line. The card to the left will go on top of the deck, ending with the King of Spades. It's time to do our first quadration in order to get to the life spread. The way this works is you'll take the top 3 cards that you cannot see, so make sure you start not on this side with the King of Spades, turn the deck over, and take the top 3 cards. This is going to account for your heart pile. Take the next 3 cards, leave them in order, and that will be your club pile. The next 3 cards will account for your diamond pile, and the next 3 cards will be your spade pile. Continue to take the top 3 cards and place them in each deck in order. So 3 cards for hearts, 3 cards for clubs, 3 cards for diamonds, 3 cards for spades. And you will do this until you are left with only 4 cards. Take the top card and place it in the heart pile. The second card will go in the club pile. The third card will go in the diamond pile, and the fourth card in the spade pile. The next step is to combine our piles. Take your heart pile and place your club pile on top of it. Take your diamond pile and place it on top of the clubs. Lastly, the spade pile will go on top of the diamonds. The next step in quadrating requires 1 card only for hearts, 1 card for clubs, 1 card for diamonds, and 1 card for spades. You'll continue to distribute 1 card to each pile until you've run out. And there you go. Now the next step is to take your hearts pile and place your club pile on top of your hearts pile. Take your diamond pile and place it on top of the clubs. And finally, the spade pile will go on top of the diamonds. If I've done this properly, the first card I pull will end up being the 3 of hearts. Yay! It's done correctly. So in order to lay our life spread, we'll go back to that Mercury position, and we'll fill out our Mercury row first. So 3 of hearts goes in Mercury, Ace of clubs goes in the Mercury-Venus position, Queen of clubs goes in the Mercury-Mars position, 10 of spades goes in Mercury-Jupiter, 5 of clubs goes in Mercury-Saturn, 3 of diamonds goes in Mercury, Uranus, and the Ace of spades goes in Mercury, Neptune. We're going to move down a row, back to the right into our Mercury column. 7 of hearts, 7 of diamonds, 5 of spades, Jack of hearts, 9 of clubs, 9 of spades, and the 2 of hearts, and that completes our Venus row. Let's go ahead and start our Mars row down here, beginning with the King of hearts, then the King of diamonds, then the 6 of hearts, 4 of clubs, 2 of diamonds, Jack of spades, and we'll finish the Neptune column off with the 8 of clubs. Moving on, we go to our Jupiter row. In the Mercury spot, we find the 6 of diamonds. In Venus, the 4 of spades. In Mars, the 10 of hearts. And in the Jupiter row, Jupiter column of the life spread is the 10 of diamonds, the most blessed card of the deck, because it sits in Jupiter and Jupiter. Next in Saturn of the Jupiter row, we will have an 8 of spades. In Uranus, we'll have an Ace of hearts, and then an Ace of diamonds will go to complete the Neptune column of your Jupiter row. Moving down, we go into the Saturn row. Saturn starts off with the Queen of diamonds, and then it goes into the 5 of hearts in Venus, 3 of clubs in the Mars position, 3 of spades in the Jupiter position, 9 of hearts in the Saturn position, 7 of clubs in Uranus, and 5 of diamonds will be the Neptune card in the Saturn row. Uranus row in the Mercury position begins with the Queen of spades, and then in Venus, Jack of clubs. Mars will be 9 of diamonds. 7 of spades will be your Jupiter position in your Uranus row. 2 of clubs will be your Saturn position in your Uranus row. And the King of clubs will be the Uranus card in the life spread in the Uranus row, Uranus column. To finish off, you'll have a Jack of diamonds in the Neptune position of the Uranus row. We have one more row to do down here, and that's Neptune. So the Neptune row, Mercury column, will be the 4 of hearts. In Venus, you'll find the 4 of diamonds. In Mars, the 2 of spades. In Jupiter, the 8 of hearts. In Saturn, 6 of clubs rather. In Uranus, the 6 of spades. And the Queen of hearts will finish off the Neptune position, which cues me to come back to the top. Again, I'm looking for my Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn columns to place my crown line. In the life spread, the 10 of clubs resides in the Mars column of the crown line. The 8 of diamonds resides in the Jupiter column of the crown line and is the Sun card of the deck. And lastly, we have the King of clubs, or spades rather. So keep in mind that we have our special family of 7 cards, the King of spades, the Jack of hearts, and the 8 of clubs will always be in these positions. Every time we shuffle the deck, these cards will be right where they're at. Now we also have 4 cards that pair off and switch places every year. The 2 of hearts and the Ace of clubs. Every time we shuffle, they're gonna swap places. So look for that. Additionally, the Venus card and the Saturn card, the 7 of diamonds and the 9 of hearts, also swap places every time that we shuffle the deck. So take note of what's going to go where next time you shuffle. Okay, now we'll pick it up in the same manner that we did before, starting in the Mercury position. We're going to take the card to the left and place it on top of the card on the right. Then we move a row down, back to the right in the Mercury area, and come through the entire spread and pick up each card. This is where the terry cloth towel comes in handy in making this process go much more smoothly, and it minimizes the mistakes you might make if you're using just a smooth table. Okay, down to our Neptune row, and to the crown line. The card to the left goes on top, ending with the King of spades. Take your Advanced Oracle Workbook, flip it over to age 1. Quadration will be done in the same manner as before. Excuse me, I had to take a drink. We'll take the top 3 cards. That'll be your hearts pile. The top 3 cards will be your clubs pile. Top 3 cards for diamonds, and the next 3 for spades. And again, we're going to go through 3 cards for each pile. Just 3 in the same order. So 3 for hearts, 3 for clubs, 3 for diamonds, and 3 for spades. Just keep them right in the same order as you pick them up. And then at the end, you're left with 4. Remember, the top card goes to hearts, the next one to clubs, the next one to diamonds, and the final card will go on the spade pile. We're going to do the same thing. Pick up your hearts and place the clubs on top. Pick up your diamonds and place them on top of the clubs. And pick up the spades, place them on top of the diamonds. One more step. 1 single card. That will be your heart pile. Single card for clubs, a single card for diamonds, and a single card for spades. And you're going to dole these out one by one: hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades, hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades, until you are run out of cards and at the end of the deck. Just make sure you go as fast as you need to. Just make sure you're placing that card right on top. If I'm going too quick for you, go ahead and pause the video. And 4. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing. Pick up your hearts. Place the clubs on top of the hearts. Place the diamonds on top of the clubs. And place the spades on top of the diamonds. If I've done my quadration correctly, I should expect to see a queen of clubs up top. Very good. Okay, so back to the Mercury row. In the Mercury column will be the queen of clubs. Next is the 2 of hearts, the 10 of diamonds, the queen of hearts, 4 of clubs, the queen of diamonds, and the 2 of clubs. And you've completed your Mercury row for age 1. Down in the Venus row, we'll have the ace of spades, rather. And of course, the 9 of hearts has switched places with the 7 of diamonds. the 4 of diamonds, the Jack of hearts, which will never give up its spot, 6 of diamonds, 6 of spades, and ace of clubs, which is switch places with the 2 of hearts. Down into your Mars row, you'll have the 9 of spades, 7 of spades, 3 of diamonds, 6 of hearts, ace of diamonds, 10 of clubs, and in the Neptune position, of course we're going to find that 8 of clubs because it never gives up its spot, just like that Jack of hearts. Moving into Jupiter, 3 of spades, 4 of hearts, 5 of spades, Queen of spades, 6 of clubs, 3 of hearts, and ace of hearts. Moving into the next row, which will be Saturn, we've got a 9 of diamonds, a 5 of clubs, King of diamonds, Jack of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, which is switched places with the 9, Jack of spades, 3 of clubs. Moving into Uranus, Mercury, we have an 8 of diamonds at age 1, then a 10 of hearts in Venus, a 5 of diamonds in Mars, an 8 of hearts in Jupiter, a King of hearts in Saturn, an 8 of spades in Uranus, and a Jack of clubs in Neptune. Our row at the bottom is Neptune, and then the Neptune row in the Mercury column will be the 10 of spades. In Venus, 5 of hearts. In Mars, King of clubs. In Jupiter, 7 of hearts. In Saturn, 2 of diamonds. Uranus is 2 of spades. And in the Neptune slot, we come up with the 9 of clubs. Back to the top, in our crown line at age 1, in Mars, we have a 4 of spades. In Jupiter, a 7 of clubs. And our card that never moves, the top of the deck, our King of spades. And we've now completed age 1 quadration. Can you guess what's going to come next? If you said go to your Mercury position and take to the card to the left and slide it over on top of the deck, then you were right. Moving down to the right, slide the card on the top. Kind of like a snow shovel or a snow plow, I like to think of it as. Pick them all up. Until you get to the bottom of your Neptune row. And then up to the crown line to pick up the rest. Do you know what happens next? Beside moving over to age 2, can you guess? If you said take 3 cards and make a hearts pile, you were right. The next 3 cards will make a clubs pile. The next 3 cards for diamonds. And the top 3 cards for spades. And then again, you're going to take 3 cards only, exactly in their order, and distribute them to each pile. Cards only. It's very easy to make a mistake. You should have 4 left. The top goes to hearts, the next diamonds, clubs, then spades. Okay. Pick up your hearts, put your clubs on top, then your diamonds, and then your spades. But we're not done yet. Again, we're going to take 1 single card for hearts, 1 card for clubs, 1 card for diamonds, and 1 card for spades. And then go ahead and deal these out until you no longer have any. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades, hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades. Will somebody make a song for quadration? Robert, are you listening? Maybe you can make us a quadration song. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades, hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades, hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades. Done. Pick up your heart pile. Place the clubs on top. Then your diamonds, finally your spades. Now, if I'm lucky, the age 2 quadration, this top card should be a 10 of diamonds. And it is. So back to Mercury with your 10 of diamonds, Mercury, Venus is Ace of Clubs because it switched places with the Two of Hearts. In Mars, Queen of Spades. Jupiter, Nine of Clubs. Saturn, Six of Hearts. Uranus, Nine of Diamonds. Finishing off with the King of Hearts in the Neptune column of the Mercury row, rather. These are rows, these are columns. Going down to your Venus line, Two of Clubs, Seven of Diamonds, Five of Hearts, Jack of Hearts, never moves. The Jack of Hearts always will be there. Three of Spades, Two of Spades, and the Two of Hearts to finish this row. Moving down to Mars, Six of Spades, Eight of Hearts, Queen of Diamonds, Three of Diamonds, Ace of Hearts, Four of Spades, and Eight of Clubs. Again, this card never moves. Going down to your Jupiter row, you've got a Jack of Diamonds, Ten of Spades, Four of Diamonds, Eight of Diamonds, Two of Diamonds, Queen of Clubs, and a Three of Hearts, and that completes Jupiter. Moving on to Saturn, in the Mercury spot is the Five of Diamonds, and the Venus spot, Four of Clubs. In the Mars spot, Seven of Spades. Jupiter spot is Jack of Clubs. Saturn spot, Nine of Hearts. And in the Uranus spot, Ten of Clubs, and the Neptune spot will be the King of Diamonds, which leads us down to our Uranus row. Starting from the Mercury position, Seven of Clubs, Five of Spades, Three of Clubs, Seven of Hearts, Nine of Spades, Six of Clubs, and a Ten of Hearts. We have one last row to complete down here, the Neptune row, and the Mercury spot is the Queen of Hearts at H2. The Five of Clubs goes in Venus, Eight of Spades goes in Mars, Jupiter's Ace of Spades, Saturn is your Ace of Diamonds, Uranus is your King of Clubs, and in the Neptune spot we have the Six of Diamonds. Bringing us back up to our crown line, in Mars we have the Four of Hearts, in Jupiter the Jack of Spades, and again our King of Spades that never gives up his spot. Let's go ahead and flip over our books into H3. We're going to pick the cards up in the same fashion we did before, guys. We're going to start with that Mercury spot. Card to the left is just going to get slid on top of the next, just like so. I hope you're finding that putting a towel down was a useful idea. And I want to commend you and thank you for taking time out of your day to sit with me and go through quadrations. I have quadrated the deck several times and find that each time I do it, it connects me to the cards in a way that I simply cannot explain. I'd like to know your thoughts on this when you're done quadrating, if you feel a connection to the cards and what happened to you. Maybe you can put it into words better than I can. So let's start the quadration for H3. Do you remember what we're doing? If you think to take 3 cards and make hearts, and 3 cards to make clubs, the next top 3 cards for diamonds, and the next 3 cards for spades, you're starting to catch on. Again, take the top 3 cards for hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. And you'll continue to do this until you are left with only 4 cards in the deck. Just like so. 4 cards left. The top card goes to hearts, the next clubs, diamonds, and then spades. Pick up your hearts, place your clubs on top, place your diamonds on top, place your spades on top. One more step, 1 single card for hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. You'll do this until all of your cards have been distributed into each pile. Guys, this is quadration. This is how we end up with our grand solar spreads. So if you were stuck on an island with only a deck of cards, you should be able to still do readings for people if you know this process. I'm not saying it wouldn't take some time, but you could certainly do it. Heart pile, goes on the bottom. Clubs go on top of hearts. Diamonds go on top of clubs. And finally, spades go on top of diamonds. If I've done this correctly, for age 3, this should be a queen of spades. It's always a surprise, isn't it? It is. Very good. Okay, so queen of spades will go in our Mercury position. This is for age 3, or your 3rd quadration. 2 of hearts in Venus. 8 of diamonds will go in Mars. 6 of diamonds will go in the Jupiter spot of the Mars, or Mercury row rather. 3 of diamonds in Saturn. 5 of diamonds will go in Uranus, and a 9 of spades will finish off our deck in Neptune. Moving down to your Venus row, King of Hearts, 9 of Hearts, 5 of Clubs, Jack of Hearts that never moves, Jack of Diamonds, King of Clubs, and can you guess what's going to be here? Ace of Clubs, because it switches places with that 2 of Hearts. These two are so predictable, just as predictable as the Jack of Hearts. Into the Venus line, we'll have the 2 of Spades, 7 of Hearts, 9 of Diamonds, Queen of Diamonds, 3 of Hearts, 4 of Hearts, and finishing with the 8 of Clubs, because it will always be in the Mars row, in the Neptune position, just like our Jack of Hearts will always be in the Jupiter column of the Venus row. They never change, guys, and I hope that you're starting to notice that. Let's move into Jupiter. Jack of Clubs, Queen of Hearts, 5 of Hearts, 7 of Clubs, Ace of Diamonds, 10 of Diamonds, and the Queen of Clubs. Moving into the Saturn line, remember we come down into the right, 3 of Clubs, 6 of Hearts, 8 of Hearts, 10 of Hearts, 7 of Diamonds, that switch places with that 9, 4 of Spades, and 7 of Spades. Uranus row, Mercury column, Jack of Spades. The Venus spot is a 4 of Diamonds. Mars spot, King of Diamonds. Jupiter spot, Ace of Club, or Spades rather. 6 of Spades in Saturn. 2 of Diamonds will go in Uranus, and the 5 of Spades will go in the Neptune position of the Uranus row. Lastly, we have our Neptune row down here, starting with the 9 of Clubs, moving into the 4 of Clubs, 6 of Clubs, 2 of Clubs, Ace of Hearts, 8 of Spades, and our Neptune position will be the 3 of Spades. Moving up to that crown line, first card in the Mars position will be the 10 of Spades, then the 10 of Clubs, and guess who's last but our King of Spades. Are you starting to see the patterns now? Let's go ahead and flip our books over from age 3 to age 4. Mercury position, card to the left goes on top, and pick up the entire spread. Another reason I use the towel is because, as you can see, sometimes the cards fall out of line, and the towel helps keep them a little bit better in place. If you aren't sure, make sure you, before you pick it up, compare it to your spread to make sure you're picking up in the right order. Otherwise, you will end up with an improper quadration. I've done that many a times, honestly. Okay, so again, we're gonna take the top 3 cards to start our next quadration and make a hearts pile. Top 3 cards will make a club pile. Top 3 cards are gonna make a diamond pile, and 3 cards will make a spade pile. So you're gonna take 3 cards for hearts, 3 cards for clubs, 3 cards for diamonds, and 3 cards for spades, and you'll continue this process until you're left with only 4 cards in the deck. Beautiful. Top card, next card, next card, and next card. Pick up your hearts. Place your clubs on top of your hearts. Place your diamonds on top of your clubs. And then lastly, your spades go on top of your diamonds. Remember, we still have one more step, and that's the single card shuffle. So first we put down one card for hearts, one card for clubs, just one card for diamonds, and one card for spades. And then remember, you'll repeat this process, just one card per pile until you run out of cards. Once you have this down, you'll never forget it. This knowledge will stay with you for life. And even if you don't have your books or computer program, as long as you've got a deck of cards and a little bit of time, you can read somebody. Tell them what's going on in their life that year or for their life spread. Again, we take our hearts, place our clubs on top, place your diamonds on top of clubs, and your spades on top of diamonds. Now we're ready to roll out age 4. If I've done this correctly, I should see an 8 of diamonds there. What do you think is going to happen? Yes, 8 of diamonds. Very good. So that will go into our Mercury. Start off our Mercury row. Mercury card for age 4. This is the Venus card, Mars card, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune in your Mercury row. This is for age 4. Okay. Then into the Venus row. Sorry, we got 9 of spades, 7 of diamonds, 4 of clubs, Jack of hearts, that never moves, Jack of clubs, 8 of spades, and 2 of hearts to finish off. Coming back down into our Mars row in the Mercury column, we'll start with King of clubs, Ace of spades, 5 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds, Queen of clubs, 10 of spades, and of course the 8 of clubs that never ever moves. Then we go to Jupiter, start that off with the 10 of hearts, into the 9 of clubs, 5 of clubs, Jack of spades, Ace of hearts, Queen of spades, and the 10 of diamonds. Moving down into our Saturn line, we're going to find the King of diamonds, 3 of diamonds, 7 of hearts, 5 of spades, 9 of hearts, that's companion card to that 7 of diamonds in Venus, 4 of hearts, and an 8 of hearts. Moving on to Uranus in the Mercury position, 10 of clubs, 5 of hearts, 7 of spades, 2 of clubs, 2 of spades, Ace of diamonds, and a 4 of diamonds. Lastly, we have our Neptune row. In the Mercury position, you'll find a 6 of diamonds. In the Venus position, a 6 of hearts. In the Mars position, a 2 of diamonds. In the Jupiter position of the Neptune row, we'll find a King of hearts at age 4. In the Saturn position will be a 3 of hearts. In the Uranus position will be a 6 of clubs. And in the Neptune position at age 4, we find a Jack of diamonds. Back up to our crown line. Mars position is a Queen of hearts. Jupiter position 4 of spades. And can you guess what the last card is by now? If you said King of spades, I think you've got it. Take your book, flip over to age 5, and let's pick up our cards. Starting in Mercury, we're just going to place the card to the left on top of the pile. So when I'm doing this, as you can see, I've got my cards almost vertical to the table, just a slight angle there. And it's very easy to just slide them up onto the top of the pile this way. So I recommend you give it a shot. Or if you've got another idea or something that works, please drop it in the comments below so that I can learn and others who are watching this video also have some alternative options to laying out the cards. Now we're going to shuffle into age 5. Age 5 quadration. 3 cards again. That'll go for hearts. 3 cards for clubs. 3 cards for diamonds. And 3 cards for spades. 3 cards for hearts. 3 cards for clubs. 3 cards for diamonds. 3 cards for spades. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades. 3 for each. And then you're going to get down to having only 4 cards in your hand. Top card for hearts, next card clubs, next card diamonds, and last card goes to spades. hearts, place clubs on top, place diamonds on top of clubs, and place spades on top of diamonds. We have another shuffle to do. To complete the quadration, we'll take one single card and make a hearts pile. One card for clubs, one card for diamonds, one card for spades. And then we'll go ahead and dole out the rest of the deck in order to each pile. This will be our quadration for age 5. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades. Pick up your heart pile. Put your club pile on top of your hearts. Put your diamond pile on top of your clubs. And your spade pile will go right on top of your diamonds. Now, according to age 5 spread, I should come up with a 7 of clubs on the top of the deck. And I did. Very good. This is what practicing quadration will do. It will get you into a place where you're able to pull this up correctly every time. So 7 of clubs starts Mercury, Mercury. Then we move into the 2 of hearts for the Venus position in the Mercury row. Remember, it switches places with the Ace of clubs, so I'm not surprised to see it. Then a Jack of spades goes in the Mars position of the Mercury line at age 5. Jack of diamonds will be Jupiter. 9 of diamonds will be Saturn. King of diamonds will be Uranus. And in the Neptune spot of the Mercury row at age 5, you're going to find a 2 of spades. Moving down to Venus, 6 of spades. In the Mercury position, 9 of hearts will be in your Venus position. 6 of hearts in Mars. Jack of hearts and Jupiter again? Yeah, it's always that way. 10 of hearts in Saturn. 6 of clubs in Uranus. And an Ace of clubs in Neptune. Coming down to the Mars row, you'll find an 8 of spades in Mercury, 2 of clubs in Venus. 3 of clubs will go into your Mars position of your Mars row. In Jupiter column, you're going to find a 5 of diamonds in the Mars row at age 5 and a 10 of diamonds in Saturn, Queen of hearts in Uranus, and always in that Mars row, the 8 of clubs in your Neptune column. Go moving down to Jupiter, you'll have the 5 of spades, 6 of diamonds, 4 of clubs, 10 of clubs, 3 of hearts, 8 of diamonds, and Queen of spades to finish off the row. Moving down to Saturn again to the right in the Mercury position, 7 of spades, Queen of diamonds, Ace of diamonds, or Ace of spades rather, 4 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, which switch places with that 9 of hearts. In Uranus, the 10 of spades, and finishing off with a 7 of hearts. Let's get down to the Uranus row. 4 of spades, 5 of clubs, 8 of hearts, King of hearts, King of clubs, Ace of hearts, and a 5 of hearts. The bottom row is our Neptune row. In the Mercury spot, we come up with 3 of spades, a 3 of diamonds, an Ace of diamonds, a 9 of spades, Queen of clubs, 2 of diamonds, and a Jack of clubs. Moving on to our crown line up top, 9 of spades, 4 of hearts, and King of spades. Grab your Oracle book, flip it over to page 6. Pick up the cards again, and start a new quadration. See what I did there? Gotta be very careful, make sure everything stays in order. It's very, very easy to get things out of order, and just one card being on the wrong spot or in the wrong spot will throw off the entire thing. Just one card not being in its place will ruin the whole quadration, so keep that in mind. It won't come out right if you don't pick them up and place them in order. And up to the crown line. Right. Let's do another shuffle for age 6. Top 3 cards for hearts. Next, top 3 cards for clubs. Next, top 3 cards for diamonds. And 3 more cards for spades. Again, you'll continue to take 3 cards for each pile. in order. Don't mix them up, just lay them down just like they are. It's very easy. You just got to memorize the formula on how to do this. And once it's in your head, it'll probably stay there forever. Okay, then you've got 4 cards left. 1 for hearts, 1 for clubs, 1 for diamonds, 1 for spades. Clubs go on top of the heart pile. Diamonds go on top of the club pile, and spades go on top of diamonds. One more time, single card. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. And I might go through this silently in my head. When I was first starting out, it helped me remember the order of the suits. And then as I was laying down the quadrations, I would go through the position and the row and column of the card in the spread, which would help me memorize even better. So we'll try that this time. Heart pile is on the bottom. Clubs go on top. Diamonds go on top of clubs. Spades go on top of diamonds. If I've done this correctly, for age 6, I should find a Jack of Spades as my top card. And I did. So this will be our Mercury row, and this is our Mercury column. Jack of Spades goes Mercury, Mercury. The Ace of Clubs is in the Mercury row, Venus column. The 10 of Clubs is in the Mercury row, Mars column. The Jack of Clubs is the Mercury row, Jupiter column. The 5 of Diamonds is in the Mercury row, Saturn column. The 7 of Spades is in the Mercury row, Uranus column. And lastly, the King of Clubs is in the Mercury row and the Neptune column. Moving down, we have our Venus row. In the Mercury spot, we'll find the 2 of Spades. In the Venus spot of the Venus row, no surprise to find the 7 of Diamonds back to its home. In the Venus row in the Mars column, we'll find a 3 of Diamonds. Venus row, Jupiter column, Jack of Hearts per usual. Venus row, Saturn column, 5 of Spades. Venus row, Uranus column, 2 of Diamonds. Venus row, Neptune column, 2 of Hearts. So I would go through when I was doing this, and I would say Mars, Mercury, because this is the Mars row, Mercury column. Mars, Venus, King of Hearts. Mars, Mars, King of Diamonds. Mars, Jupiter, 3 of Clubs. Mars, Saturn, Queen of Spades. Mars, Uranus, 9 of Clubs. Mars, Neptune, always 8 of Clubs, always. Moving into Jupiter, the Jupiter-Mercury position is a 4 of Diamonds. Jupiter-Venus is 3 of Spades. Jupiter-Mars is going to be 6 of Hearts. Jupiter-Jupiter at age 6 is the 4 of Spades. Jupiter-Saturn at age 6 is the Queen of Clubs. And the Jupiter-Uranus position is 7 of Clubs. And Jupiter-Neptune is 8 of Diamonds. After Jupiter comes Saturn, so this is a Saturn-Mercury position at age 6 is an 8 of Hearts. The Saturn-Venus position is a 9 of Diamonds. The Saturn-Mars position is a 2 of Clubs. The Saturn-Jupiter position, 5 of Hearts. Saturn-Saturn, no surprise to see the 9 of Hearts there, as it's the companion to the Venus-Venus card, the 7 of Diamonds. And in the Saturn-Uranus position, Queen of Hearts. And in the Saturn-Neptune position will be the Ace of Spades. And remember, this is for age 6. Going down, we'll move into the Uranus row. Uranus-Mercury is 4 of Hearts. Uranus-Venus, 4 of Clubs. Uranus-Mars, 7 of Hearts. Uranus-Jupiter, 9 of Spades. Uranus-Saturn, 8 of Spades. Uranus-Uranus, 3 of Hearts. And Uranus-Neptune, 5 of Clubs. Moving to the Neptune line, Neptune-Mercury, Jack of Diamonds at age 6. Neptune Venus, Queen of Diamonds. Neptune Mars, Ace of Hearts. Neptune Jupiter, Six of Spades. Neptune Saturn, Ten of Diamonds. Neptune Uranus, Ace of Diamonds. And Neptune Ten of Hearts. Moving up to our crown line Mars at age 6 is the Six of Diamonds. Crown line Jupiter at age 6 is the Ten of Spades. And per usual, we have our King of Spades sitting in our Saturn spot of the crown line. Now, a couple of things, just if you want to test out what you're doing. Yes, you can certainly look at the spread as you're putting it down, but when you're done putting down the spread, take a look at the crown line. Make sure those cards are correct. Check your Jupiter column, the very center card. Make sure that's right. Check your four corners, and then chances are if those cards match up, you've done a proper quadration. So let's go ahead and flip the page and turn to age 7. We're going to pick the cards up again in the same fashion we have. Starting from the right, the card to the left will go on the top of the pile. Dig those cards into the towel and they will slide right up, no problem. I suppose doing this on the carpet would work as well, as long as it's okay on your back. I prefer to use a chair and a table. And up to the crown line to collect our last guys here. Okay, let's quadrate for age 7. You ready? 3 cards in your hand for hearts. The next 3 cards for clubs. The next 3 cards for diamonds. And the next 3 cards for spades. Okay, so 3 cards for each pile. Again, this is one of those spots where you should be careful making sure you're doing only 3 cards and not 4. This is where I've made mistakes in the past. I'm always glad to see 4 cards left. 1 goes on each pile. Clubs on top of hearts, diamonds on top of clubs, and spades on top of diamonds. Second part of our quadration requires 1 card be put down for each suit. In each pile, hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades, until the deck runs out. And then we're ready to lay our spread. Almost done. 1 more pass. Voila. Okay. Heart pile. Clubs go on top. Diamonds go on top. Spades go on top. Okay? Now, for age 7, it says I should have a 10 of clubs right here. Whew. Thank God, right? So let's start our Mercury row. 10 of clubs, 2 of hearts, 4 of spades, 10 of hearts, 3 of clubs, 8 of hearts, 8 of spades. And that completes the Mercury row for age 7. In the Venus row, we end up with the King of clubs, 9 of hearts, Queen of diamonds, Jack of hearts, 4 of diamonds, Ace of diamonds, and the Ace of clubs. Again, these 2 change spots, and this guy never goes. I will keep repeating it. This way you will remember it. Venus row, 2 of diamonds, 9 of spades, 7 of spades, King of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 6 of diamonds, and the 8 of clubs, which never moves. Into our Jupiter row, we have a 5 of hearts starting in Mercury, Jack of diamonds, 3 of diamonds, 4 of hearts, 10 of diamonds, Jack of spades, and the 7 of clubs. Moving down to Saturn, we're going to end up with the 7 of hearts, 5 of diamonds, King of hearts, 5 of clubs, 7 of diamonds, 9 of clubs, and the 2 of clubs. Moving down into our Uranus row, 10 of spades, 6 of hearts, Ace of spades, 6 of spades, 6 clubs, Queen of clubs, and finishing with the 4 of clubs. Let's get our Neptune row done. Jack of clubs, 9 of diamonds, 3 of hearts, 2 of spades, Queen of spades, Ace of hearts, and finishing the Neptune spot with a 5 of spades, bringing us up to the crown line where I should have a 3 of spades, Queen of hearts, and a King of spades, and I do. Yay! Give yourselves a pat on the back, okay? Let's move over to age 8. We've got 2 more quadrations to do before we wrap up. So remember, you're going to start in your Mercury position and just slide the card to the left on top of the pile. Pick them all up in order. I think it might be time for a sip of my coffee. Do y'all mind if I take a sip of coffee? Let's take a sip of coffee. I'm drinking an Italian roast, yes? Thank you. It's delicious. Okay, let's move into age 8, guys. I hope you have 3 cards in your hand to start your heart pile. And then 3 more cards in your hand for clubs, 3 cards for diamonds, and 3 cards for spades. And you'll continue to dole out 3 cards per pile in order until you end up with just 4 cards in your hand. Three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 4 cards left over. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Clubs go on top of hearts. Diamonds go on top of clubs. Spades go on top of diamonds. One more step, remember. We're going to put a single card down for hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. Go ahead and deal these out until you're out of cards to place. And the last one should always end up in that spade pile. That's how you know you did it right. I've made many a mistake on quadrating and have had to go back to the previous spread, and that is my recommendation. If your quadration comes out improper, just go back to the previous spread, lay it out, and start picking up and start over, because it does happen. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. Now, if I've done this quadration correctly at age 8, I should find a 4 of spades right here, and I did. So that goes in Mercury, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Mercury, Saturn, Mercury, Uranus, Mercury, Neptune, Venus, Mercury, Venus, 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 Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Venus, Uranus, Venus, Neptune, Mars, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Mars, 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 Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Mars, Uranus, Mars, Neptune, Jupiter, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Jupiter, 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 Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, and Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, Mercury, Saturn, Venus, Saturn, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Saturn, 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 Uranus, and Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Mercury, Uranus, Venus, Uranus, Mars, Uranus, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, Uranus, 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 Neptune, Neptune, Mercury, Neptune, Venus, Neptune, Mars, Neptune, Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Neptune, Neptune, Mars, crown line, Jupiter, crown line, Saturn, crown line. Age 8. Perfect. Let's pick it up. But first, let's flip to our last quadration. We're going to go to age 9 and wrap it up for today. So we'll start at our Mercury card and place each one on top. The way that I just did it with naming the position of the row and the column is an excellent way to ingrain in your brain the order of the planets and the card the periods of the planets that the cards fall in, is what I mean to say there. Maybe I should have another sip of coffee. Okay, and the Neptune row and the crown line. All right, let's do one more shuffle, or quadration, if you will. Do that by taking 3 cards for hearts, 3 cards for clubs, 3 cards for diamonds, and 3 cards for spades. 3 cards each pile. Until you only have 4 left. Four cards left. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. Now, if you recall correctly, pick up your hearts, pop your clubs on top of that, pop your diamonds on top of that, pop your spades on top of that. Now there's one more step. Remember, we've got to do one single card in 4 piles. So hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. Hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades. This is the magic behind the science, guys. This is what makes the whole card system go, is this process right here. And I celebrate each and every one of you who is taking the time, effort, and energy to actually go through quadrations with or without me. So let's wrap this up. Heart pile, put your clubs on top. Put your diamonds on top of clubs, and put your spades on top of your diamonds. If I've done this right, at age 9, this should be a 4 of hearts. And it is. Little experience goes a long way with this. 4 of hearts will go. We'll do this again the way I did it last time, just to help memorize the planetary periods, right? Mercury row, Mercury column. Mercury, Mercury. That down a little. Mercury, Venus. Mercury, Mars. Mercury, Jupiter. Mercury, Saturn. Mercury, Uranus. Mercury, Neptune. That all lines up with the grand solar spread at age 9, so I know I'm on the right track and I've done a proper shuffle, or a proper quadration, if you will. The Venus row in the Mercury spot. Venus, 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 Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Venus, Uranus, Venus, Neptune. Mars, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Mars, 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 Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Mars, Uranus, Mars, Neptune. Jupiter, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Jupiter, 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 Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, and Jupiter, Neptune. Saturn, Mercury, Saturn, Venus, Saturn, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Saturn, 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 Uranus, Saturn, Neptune. Uranus, Mercury, Uranus, Venus, Uranus, Mars, Uranus, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, Uranus, 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 Neptune. Neptune, Mercury, Neptune, Venus, Neptune, Mars, Neptune, Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Neptune, Neptune. Crown line Mars, crown line Jupiter, crown line Saturn. And that completes age 9. So the next steps for our next session, what you'll want to do is go to, if you have the space to leave it out in your house, that's fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to pick the cards up in preparation for our next quadration. So I'm going to take the 4 in the Mercury, Mercury spot, and I'm going to pick all the cards up. Okay. Just in the order they're supposed to be, as if I was going to go do age 10 next. I'm serious. If anyone can come up with a song for quadration, I'd be one happy camper. All right, Neptune row and up to the crown line. Very good. Okay, so my recommendation is to grab a rubber band. rubber band up your cards or put them back in their box, however you like. But these are in order for our next quadration. So when we meet again, I know that I'm at age 9. I know that I've picked them up at age 9 and I'm moving into 10. So you want to keep your card deck in the final state that it was in, and when we meet again next week, we'll start off with our quadration to move into age 10. But for now, that is your first set of the spiritual spread through age 9. So we've run through 10 quadrations, and we will continue to do this until we flip the deck back over to the life spreads. So I hope you enjoyed today's class and that you enjoy quadrating the deck and are feeling closer to the cards. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye. You did your first series of quadrations. I want to congratulate you on showing up today and doing the work. These quadrations should teach you something about the mathematical process and how grand solar spreads are derived. But these classes are for you. They're for you to learn to manually shuffle the deck and quadrate the cards, as well as to help you feel more connected, not only to your personal deck, but to the card science as a whole. So we're going to go through 90 of these shuffles. It'll take us about 10 weeks to get through it. So next week when I see you, we will start at age 10 and we'll go through either 19 or 20 depending on how much time we have. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, remember to subscribe to Navigate Your Fate, because I'll be putting out more videos with information on the card science. And then like this video if you got something out of it, and share it with your friends. Share it with anyone else who's involved in the card science, because we are the keepers of this sacred knowledge, and it deserves to be passed along to others who are interested in learning how to read the cards. I want to wish you all a happy holidays, and again, thank you for coming by today. I look forward to seeing you during our next session. God bless.